In this lesson, we are going to look at some examples of instructions and see what exactly happens in each stage if we are talking about a 5-stage organization. So just for a quick revision, stage 1 always refers to the fetching in the instruction from the memory. So the contents of the program counter will be put into the memory address register, and it will be from there put onto the address bus. The memory will be read from that particular location. The processor will wait for the memory function complete signal. Whatever data has been brought from the memory, which is the instruction, will be put in the instruction register, and the program counter will be incremented by 4 to point to the next instruction. Here we are assuming that the length of the current instruction is 4, so that is why the pointer will point to 4 bytes after the current location. If the length of the instruction is different, the program counter will be incremented by those many bytes. In the second stage, the instruction will be decoded. So based on what is the opcode which is present there in the opcode bits of the instruction, appropriate control signals will be generated. Also in this stage, source operands have to be read. So there, since we are talking about a RISC style processor, there will be specific bits for the source registers and the destination registers. So the source register over here, as we can see, are R4 and R5. So R4 and R5 registers will be activated, they will be enabled, and the contents of R4 will be put in the interstage register, which is RA, and R5 contents will be put in the interstage register RB. In the third stage, since this is an addition that has to be performed, this addition will be performed in the third stage in the ALU, and the result will be stored in another interstage register which stores the output of the ALU, which is register RZ. In the fourth stage, no memory access is required. So simply the contents of the previous interstage register will pass on to the next interstage register. So RZ contents will be passed on to RY. In the fifth stage, the writing of the register file has to take place. So the contents of RY will be sent to the register file, and since here R3 is the destination register, it will be enabled. The address of R3 will be put into the register file address input port. The register file will be enabled with a write enable, and the contents will be stored in R3. So this completes the complete fetch, decode, execute of the add instruction. Let us have a look at this load R5 x R7. This instruction indicates that the contents of R5 have to be stored in the memory, and the memory address, effective address, is X plus the contents of R7. So as explained in the previous slide, the fetch stage will remain the same. In the second stage, decode will take place. So it is figured out that this is a load instruction. Also the source operands have to be read. So the source operand over here is R7. R7 will be sent to RA, and this offset value of X will be sent to the mux input of the multiplexer B. So this will be available in the input of the multiplexer B. In the third stage, these two values RA and this immediate value X will be added and put into the output register of ALU, which is RZ. This is the effective address, and from this effective address the memory has to be accessed in stage 4. So in stage 4, this address which was computed by the ALU will be sent into the memory address register. The memory will be read because this is a load operation. A memory read signal will be generated. Memory function complete signal will have to be waited for. Once that signal comes, that means the memory has been accessed and the data is available in the memory data register. So this data will be passed on into RY. From RY, it will be passed on to the destination register R5 in stage 5. This is the store R6 x R8 instruction. The contents of R6 have to be stored in the memory address given by x plus R8. This is the effective address where the contents of R6 have to be stored. The fetch cycle remains the same. In the second stage, decode the instruction, read the source operands. So the source operands are R8, which will be sent to RA. Also, since the contents of R6 have to be sent to the memory, they will be put into the output register of the register file RB. In the third stage, the effective address, memory address, will be computed by adding the contents of RA and immediate value X and put into RZ. Also, the RB contents, which contained R6 values, have been passed on to RM. These are again the interstage registers which are holding the output of stage 3. In the fourth stage, memory access has to take place. So the address will be sent to the memory address register. The data will be sent into the memory data register. Write memory signal will be generated. Wait for memory function complete will be done so that once this signal is received, it shows that the memory write operation was complete. And once it is complete, that means this data has been written into the memory. So the fifth stage does not require any action because the execution or whatever the task that was to be performed has been actually completed in stage 4. If we are having an unconditional branch instruction like branch to an offset 100, so this offset will have to be added to the contents of the program counter to generate the address of the target instruction. So if this is the program that is running and we have a branch offset 100 over here, so this 100 will be added to the contents of the program counter since program counter is already pointing to the next instruction, and the target address where the instruction has to be fetched from now, this address will be generated. So the first step remains the same. In the second stage, decoding has taken place and it has been determined that it is a unconditional branch. So no condition has to be checked. Simply the branch offset has to be added to the program counter and sent to the program counter. Now this value in the program counter will be used to fetch the next instruction in the next instruction fetch decode execute cycle. So in the fourth stage, no action is required. In the fifth stage also, no action is required. What happens if we have a conditional branch instruction like this? Branch if R5 is equal to R6, go to loop. So there will be a branch only if this condition is satisfied. And this offset over here will be added to the program counter if the condition is true. So the fetch instruction stage is same. In the decode instruction stage, that is stage 2, the instruction is being decoded. the source operands R5 and R6 are being brought into the interstage registers R5 and RA and RB. In the third stage, RA and RB will be compared using a comparator, and if they are equal, then the branch offset will be added to the program counter contents and sent to the program counter. In stage 4 and stage 5, no action will be required. So if the condition was true, the program counter has the new value of the target address and the next instruction will be fetched from there. If the condition was false, then the program counter has not changed and the next sequential instruction will be fetched from the memory. What if there is a subroutine call? If it is a subroutine call, that means the program has to go to another subroutine, and after that subroutine has finished, it will come back to the calling program. So here is a call subroutine instruction, and it has to go to S1, complete that subroutine and return back to the calling program. So to return back to the calling program, the return address also has to be stored. And if an instruction like this says that call register R9, it means the address of that subroutine is available in register R9. The fetch stage is same. Second stage gets the contents of register R9 in RA. This is the address of the subroutine where we have to go now. So this has to be put into the program counter. But before going to the subroutine, the program counter will store its contents into a PC temp, which is a temporary register. It will save it temporarily over here, and the contents of RA will go to PC, which is the address of the subroutine. So program counter already has the address of this instruction from where the next instruction cycle will begin. In the fourth stage, from one interstage register, it will be passed on to the other interstage register, so that it can be written back into the link register, which is also available in the register file. So from RY, it will go into the link register, which is one of the general purpose registers in the register file, and so this will be taken care of in the stage 5. So I hope all these examples will help you figure out what all operations are involved in each stage of a 5-stage organization.